This is just an SEO questions and answers, just some of the basic questions that we get asked on a regular basis. So I'll try and do this as quickly as I can, 15 questions in about 15 minutes, so here goes. SEO is really important for any business or most businesses out there, purely because you need to generate revenue and traffic and money to your business, and most people in this day and age do search for businesses online, whether it's a roofer or a garden furniture or whatever you might be selling or offering as a service. The chances are people are looking for you online, so being found on page 1 of Google is where a lot of money is at, and it's certainly a very successful way of marketing your business. An SEO audit is a process that happens when an SEO person like myself, for example, will audit your website and see what is wrong with your website. So they'll run a check, see if you've got broken links, missing metadata, and a whole heap of other stuff. There can be duplicate content, there can be dodgy redirect loops, there can be so many different things that flag up on an audit, and it's really important that your website is built on a solid foundation. So technical SEO is really important, and an audit helps you establish some of those problems. So white hat SEO is something that can happen. People tend to use PR links and a whole heap of other ethical tactics to do what we need to do to rank well. Most commonly used by bigger brands and people with big budgets who can afford that level of marketing. People term the other way black hat SEO. So a small builder, for example, who's in a low budget that can't afford to compete with some of the big companies, may choose to use some form of automation or some form of tactics that will be seen as black hat. Now, the common sense approach is it's not really black hat. You don't go out there to get people banned. There's probably something in the middle, which is probably called grey hat or money hat or whatever you want to term it, and it's probably something where a lot of businesses will operate. So it's silly to label yourself as white or black hat. Your job is to get as much exposure for a client's budget as you possibly can. On-page SEO is all the elements that you would do that's on your website, and whether that's internal linking, adding content, adding title tags, doing anything on page is essentially termed on-page SEO. Off-page SEO can be your link building or anything that's involved off the website, and these go hand in hand. You can't not build links to a website that you've done all the on-page for. You want to do a mixture of everything to make sure that you rank well. Competitor analysis is where you would use tools like SEMrush or whatever to analyse what your competition are doing, what they rank for, and it can be analysing what paid keywords they go for, or just analysing their organic search keywords and see if there's anything you can take from that to implement on your own website. Analysing your competition is probably a key part of SEO, and there's tools out there that can help you do that very quickly, very easily. And implementing what your competition are doing is certainly not a bad thing. Not condoning you go copy and paste everything they do, but certainly taking the good things that they're doing and implementing it into your own website is not going to do you any harm at all. Technical SEO is like when you do site audits and stuff like that. There's loads of things that can impact your website's technical ability. It can be site speed, it can be technical problems with your website. You've also got people who look at server log analysis. There's and to understand how Google is crawling your website and what the bots are doing, and all of this stuff is all determined technical SEO. You know, redirects and no follow in certain categories and or tags on your website or whatever it may be. There's always a reason that you want. I mean, basically the job is to make sure that Google crawl and index your money pages on your website and not to crawl search filters and any other crap that's not designed to rank well. So there's a lot of technical stuff like no following and stuff like that as well, which I would determine technical SEO. So there is lots of different elements to technical SEO, and they all are very, very important. You know, as important as links and content, which everyone seems to obsess over. So technical SEO is very much underused by many, and there are a few people out there who beat the drum about technical SEO and it's the best thing. You still have to do everything, you know, your content, links and everything else that you choose to do. So, but technical is very important. Backlinks are links to your website, so they would appear on other people's websites, whether it's a blogger, a newspaper, a forum, anything that is relevant to you. Back in the day, links used to be links and it was just a free-for-all. Any old link would do. Google is now looking for good quality relevant links from websites that get decent traffic, and that is what backlinks should be. A lot of people will tell you otherwise, and you know, they maybe had good results doing it their way, but link building or backlinks is a vital part of SEO. It's a main ranking signal. There's just a lot of grey areas, and you know, people tell you just get this, just do that. You have to get links from a wide variety of resources, whether that's doing manual outreach, guest blog posts, directory citations, PBNs, however you choose, or PR links, or whatever you choose to do is entirely up to you and what you believe in. So that is what the basic like votes for your website. The more good quality relevant links you get, the higher your ranking should go. There's nothing out there, in my opinion, that suggests that AdWords does directly impact your SEO. You know, by having an AdWords account, does it automatically make you have higher rankings? The answer would be no. But on the flip side of that, you know, there's certain metrics. You know, you're getting more traffic, you're getting click-through rate, which are ranking signals. So indirectly, AdWords, in my opinion, does help your SEO. It helps improve your click-through rate, and it helps, you know, drive traffic to your website and all that kind of stuff, and you know, conversions and everything like that, which is all good stuff that a website should be doing, and Google should be rewarding that. And I believe that, you know, setting up a good AdWords campaign to manipulate all that stuff and also get sales will help your SEO indirectly. The chances of your rankings remaining if you stop doing SEO are, it really depends on who does your SEO, to be fair. You wouldn't advertise in a newspaper, for example, and expect your ads to still be there when you stop paying. And your SEO is going to be the same. Your competition are going to continually build links, add new content, get more keywords. So I would expect a website to fully drift out there, you know, naturally, if you stop paying for SEO in a competitive market. If you're in a low-end market where there's not a huge amount of competition, you know, it might take a bit longer for your SEO to drift out. However, if you are using someone's network of websites to prop your website up, the chances are when you stop paying, your links will be removed and your rankings will drop. And it just really depends on the structure of that person. No one's going to let you use their resources to continually rank well whilst they're not being paid. It's as simple as that. And people may see that as unethical or whatever. But if you want good results and you do use that approach, then there's no reason for these guys to continually prop your website up. So it really depends on who you use. If you want to spend big bucks and get all PR links and do SEO properly, then the chances of your SEO being derailed by when you stop paying is not going to be as bad. But yeah, I think your SEO, regardless of what you do, will start to drift out, or your rankings will be pulled, essentially. Again, like AdWords, social media drives a lot of traffic. All the kind of links and stuff are no follow from social media. But you know, in my own opinion, and I have done a lot of testing, and I have done a blog post on this in the past, by using social media to drive traffic, which then impacts your click-through rate and time on the website and everything else that is seen as a ranking signal, then social media does help your SEO indirectly. So I'm not suggesting by having social media that your rankings are going to go up there, but if you drive traffic from social media and use social media properly, then yes, I have seen an increase in rankings, basically down to the traffic and the click-through rate and stuff like that. It would be my guess as to why that happens. Can get banned from Google depending on the tactics that you choose to use. Google have been known to take manual action against websites who are doing stuff that they don't quite agree with. Yeah, so penalties are very much still out there. You know, they're becoming less frequent because I think Google's becoming cleverer. But to be fair, if you're doing something, you will be banned, regardless of what you do in life. So yeah, Google's no different. They've got far too many websites out there, and they will remove people who don't add value to the internet. You can disavow bad links. The links that you get, you know, you can get natural links that you might not agree with or whatever, and you can submit a disavow. I would only really recommend doing that if you're under some form of negative SEO attack or whatever. You know, I think disavow is sometimes overused and people just disavow links willy-nilly. If any link passes any value, you know, I would tend to keep it. But yeah, if you're getting bad links, submit a disavow and tell Google these are nothing to do with you, and hopefully they will take that into consideration as soon as possible. And yeah, I firmly believe that tool works from my own testing again. And yeah, just keep yourself clean and tidy. There are tools out there which will tell you that you have toxic links and stuff like that. So yeah, get on those tools and start disavowing if you feel that you do have bad links. Yes and no. You don't have to use tools to carry out SEO successfully, you know, if you're a one-man band or whatever. But the argument is, you know, where are you getting your data from? So obviously keyword research, competitor analysis, checking other people's backlinks for backlink ideas. You really do need the tools to give you the data to do the job. Everything can be done manually. You can check everything on anyone's website manually, but I firmly believe if you want to do the job properly and you don't know what you're doing, then you will have to have even some of the basic tools out there to help you along the way. They certainly cut down a lot of time as well, but you know, manually you can, I mean, you could perform SEO using guesswork, which is not the best in my opinion. But yeah, if you don't want to pay for tools, I'm sure you can still do everything else and get reasonable rankings by simply looking at your competition's title tags and whatnot and guessing their keywords. I mean, that's a difficult question. I mean, obviously content and links always have been the core parts of SEO, and they have been for, you know, as long as I've been in the industry. But they do, you know, it's constantly evolving, and you do have click-through rate, traffic, technical SEO, site speed, mobile friendly, and all these other kind of ranking signals that are deemed important. And you know, they're all kind of common sense ones. You know, Google say that they've got over 200 different ranking signals. Some of them are, you know, very minuscule, and some of them are really, really important. But I think the most important ones for me is having good, unique content, good backlinks, and good technical SEO. and having a sound website. Continually audit your website to make sure it's the best it can be, and everything else round about that. Get content, good internal linking structure, and some good quality relevant backlinks, and you'll at least get halfway there. And then it's a case of refining and tweaking and trying and testing different things to make sure that you get to the top position that you want to be in. SEO campaigns costs vary depending on what you want, where you are, what niche you're in, and stuff like that. So for example, if a builder in London had come to me, the chances are it's going to cost you thousands of pounds per month, purely because London is saturated with every type of business, to be honest. So if a florist in Grimsby came to me, the chances are it's going to be very easy, not a huge amount of competition. An area like Grimsby is smaller than London, and it's going to be a hell of a lot easier, so I don't need to put as much time into it. So there isn't a set cost for SEO for anyone. It really depends on how many keywords you want, what the competition is, and how much you really want to invest in SEO. It's all about return on investment rather than how much does SEO cost me. There's not a flat rate of £1,000 a month and you'll get £250,000 in turnover as a result. SEO costs what you want to do. If you want to throw more content out there, more keywords, and gain mass exposure, run multiple websites, or whatever your strategy is going to be, then the costs are increasing all the time. But it is all about spending a reasonable amount on your marketing to then get a massive return on investment. And we've had people who come in the past to myself when I've done client work, and they'll start off in a very minimal budget, and then they ask the question, what happens if I double my budget? And we double the budget, they get double the amount of keywords, double the amount of exposure, double the amount of leads. And it's not always a case of doubling it, but the more work you do, the more you can get from it. So you've always got to go in. You can't go in too cheap with your SEO budget, and you've got to go in with a reasonable figure. Get a few quotes is what I would always recommend. People's prices do vary, but depending on the niche you're in and the kind of area that you're targeting, whether it's nationwide or some local area, will all determine variable costs for that.